So when it comes to decouple microservices and provide asynchronicity between them, as well as resilience, there are a couple of big players in this field. One of them is Apache Kafka. Now, Apache Kafka is open source, and I believe it was initially developed by the guys at LinkedIn, and it's basically used by a lot of companies. So it provides high throughput, it's scalable. One cool feature here is that it has permanent storage. So you can store streams of data safely in a distributed, durable, fault-tolerant cluster in here. So something that RabbitMQ, for example, does not provide. Then it's also high available. So you can stretch clusters efficiently over availability zones or connect separate clusters across geographic regions. Now, Kafka on its own, it's a big beast, I have to admit. But still, I'm going to basically show you how you're going to use Kafka with Spring Boot at a later stage. Then what we have is RabbitMQ. So RabbitMQ is the most widely developed open source message broker. For this course, we're going to begin with RabbitMQ due to its simplicity of getting started, understanding its concept, and the integration with Spring Boot will be really straightforward, as you'll see. We also have Amazon SQS. So Amazon SQS stands for Simple Queue Service. It's a fully managed message queuing service that enables you to decouple and scale microservice distributed systems and serverless applications. So if you are deploying your applications to AWS, then this is a great solution because it's fully managed. Now, one disadvantage of using SQS is that, let's say that you want to port your microservice architecture to Google Cloud. So recently, there were a couple of regions of AWS that were down, for example. Now, in this case, if you are deploying to multi-clouds, i.e. you're deploying to AWS as well as Azure and maybe Google Cloud, let's say that you've managed to deploy to all those three at once, right? So it's a very difficult job, I'm not going to lie, but let's just say that you've managed to do it. Now, if you are tied to SQS, then you can't really move across any other cloud provider because SQS is AWS specific. Whereas maybe if you're running your own Kafka cluster or RabbitMQ, then you have more flexibility in here. So usually you'll see that you have teams that are dedicated for making sure that your cluster, i.e., either using Kafka or RabbitMQ, that these are always up and running. Because again, if they go down, so in here, so if you lose your message queue, then you can see that again. So if this goes, then you have a big problem. But usually it shouldn't be a problem because when running Kafka or RabbitMQ, you want to run in multi-AZ, for example, right? Multi-availability zone. So if one availability zone is down, then no matter what, things are still up and running. So you'd never have one single message queue for all of your microservices when running in production. And before I forget, I'm going to leave a link where you can learn more about the differences between Apache Kafka, RabbitMQ, and SQS so that you have a better understanding of these tools. If you have any questions, drop me a message. Otherwise, let's move on.